All right, so if you were just done with waking up exhausted, you've come to the right place. We're about to walk through a science-backed method that gets right to the root cause of those super frustrating middle-of-the-night wake-ups.
You know the feeling, right? You jolt awake, your mind is just racing, and there's no way you're getting back to sleep. A lot of us, we blame our age, or maybe our mattress. But the real culprit? It's a specific chemical switch inside your brain that's been flipped to on at the absolute worst possible time. So what's really going on here? Well, think of it like this. It's a fire alarm inside your body that's just blaring. But there's no fire. And it all comes down to one specific hormone.
And that hormone, it's cortisol. Now listen, cortisol gets a really bad rap, but it's not the bad guy here. It's actually our natural built-in alarm clock. Its job is to be high in the morning, to give you that get-up-and-go energy. And then it's supposed to slowly fade away during the day, hitting rock bottom at night so you can get deep sleep.
And this is where things get messy. This slide, it just perfectly shows how modern life has completely flipped our natural rhythm on its head. On the left, that's the healthy cycle. But for so many of us, the reality is on the right. You're dragging in the morning when you should be full of energy, and then you're wired at night when you should be winding down. Our alarm clock is just going off at all the wrong times.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? High cortisol at night is literally like a blaring fire alarm in your house. It is a full-on emergency signal. And there is just no way you can get that deep, restorative sleep when your body is screaming that the house is on fire. But the good news is you can turn this alarm off.
Okay, so let's jump into the first habit, the first practical thing you can do tonight. And this one is all about taking back control over the most powerful signal your body listens to, light. Deep inside your brain, there's this thing called a master clock. And this clock is, it's pretty simple. It only speaks one language, and that language is light. For basically all of human history, darkness meant it was time to lower cortisol and release melatonin, our sleep hormone. But today, we've totally broken that ancient signal.
Check this out. A clinical study compared people reading from a screen versus a regular paper book before bed. The results were just staggering. The folks reading on a screen, their melatonin production was massively delayed. They were basically staring into an artificial sun at midnight and then wondering why their brain wouldn't shut off. Of course it won't.
So, what's the fix? It's simple. You create what we call a digital sunset. 2 hours before you plan to go to sleep, just start dimming your world. Turn off those bright overhead lights. Switch to some warm, low-level lamps. This sends a powerful signal to your master clock that the day is over, it's safe, and cortisol can finally take a nosedive.
All right, on to habit number 2. This one tackles another huge cortisol trigger, that late-night blood sugar roller coaster, because what you eat and when you eat it is sending a direct memo to your hormones.
Let's walk through what actually happens to cause that 3 a.m. wake-up. It starts around 9 p.m. with a late meal or a snack. That spikes your blood sugar. Then your body releases insulin to deal with it. But because you're not moving around, your blood sugar often crashes a few hours later. And your brain sees this crash as a life-or-death emergency, and at 3:01 a.m., it hits the panic button and launches a full-blown cortisol rescue mission to save you.
That just changes how you think about it, right? That jolt awake, the pounding heart, it's not you failing at sleep. It's your body doing its job, using stress hormones to literally save you from what it thinks is a metabolic crisis.
So how do we stop this emergency call from ever going out in the first place? The rule is so simple. Stop all calories at least 3 hours before bed. Water, herbal tea, that's fine. This keeps your blood sugar nice and stable all night long. No spikes, no crashes, no 3 a.m. cortisol dump. Simple as that. Okay, our third and final habit. This one is all about the mental side of things. The psychological stress that keeps that cortisol pumping, even when you're just lying in bed. We've got to give your brain a proper off-ramp from all the day's worries. Think of your nervous system like a car. It's got 2 main gears. You've got the sympathetic system, that's the gas pedal. That's your fight or flight response, and it's driven by cortisol. Then you've got the parasympathetic system. That's the brake pedal. That's your rest and digest state. When you're lying there in bed thinking about work emails or that argument you had, you are physically slamming your foot on the gas pedal. There's actually a name for these worries. Psychologists call them open loops. They're all the unfinished tasks, the problems, the obligations that your brain just refuses to let go of. It's like leaving your car's engine revving all night long, and that demands high alertness and, you guessed it, high cortisol.
Now get this. A study at Baylor University found something amazing.
They found that people who took just 5 minutes to write down a to-do list for the next day fell asleep way faster. Seriously, the effect was so powerful it was basically on par with taking sleeping pills. Why? Because they were finally closing all those mental open loops.
So here's what you do. It's called a brain dump, and it's so easy. You get a real pen and a real piece of paper. No screens, please. And you just write it all down. Tomorrow's tasks, your worries, little ideas. By getting it all out of your head and onto the paper, you're literally giving your brain permission to shut down the engine. You're taking your foot off the gas and gently tapping the brake.
Okay, so let's put it all together. When you actually do these 3 things, the digital sunset, the 3-hour food rule, and the brain dump, you are actively taking control of your cortisol. You will fall asleep faster, you'll stay asleep through the night, and you will wake up feeling genuinely refreshed and ready to actually take on the day.
See, this isn't just about, managing your sleep. This is about physically changing your brain chemistry. You hold the power to turn off that internal alarm and finally reclaim your nights. So the only question left is, are you ready to flip the switch?